this one here is kind of presented in its original form. Now we're going to continue on with the DVD from the Laurel and Hardy box set. It is number 9 in the box set. It's The Bohemian Girl and its related shorts, and this short film is called That's My Wife. It's from 1929 and it's a silent short film, but it has added sound effects along with the music from its original release. A lot of the silent shorts that you get on the Laurel and Hardy box set have been completely re-recorded with like fresh music, and the image kind of cleaned up a little bit here and there, but this one here is kind of presented in its original form. It works really, really good. You know, you've got the usual silent, black and white silent short comedy where you see the people speaking but you can't hear them, there's just music, and then it cuts to like a card on screen and it's got writing, tells you what they're saying. But then on top of that there, and at the start I found it kind of weird because I didn't, I've watched a lot of short comedies, silent short comedies in my time, but this is the first one that I can recall at the moment that had the added sound effects of things breaking and whatnot. And it's kind of weird whenever you don't hear the actors, but you're hearing like the ambience more or less of the surroundings around them. So genius, it works really well. So as I say, this is from 1929, and the basic idea of this short film is that Ollie has got a rich uncle that's going to leave him an inheritance, but he hasn't met Oliver's wife yet. He wants to know if he wants to make sure that he's settled down, has got a good woman there before he writes his last will and testament where he actually leaves the money for Oliver. Basically at the start of the film, Stanley came to stay for a couple of nights, and 2 years later he's still there. He just made himself at home, never left, and this is a source of stress and arguments between Oliver and the wife. And she's like, either he goes or I go, more or less. So one thing leads to another, and of course the wife leaves Oliver on his own, and him and Stanley fall out, fight with each other because of this. And Stanley is like, right, either you go or I go. So it's like, Ollie, you're going to kick me out of my own house? So Stanley disappears off. He's going to go and pack his bags, and then the rich uncle turns up. Oliver starts to panic at this stage because he knows if the uncle comes in, sees that the wife has left him, the money's gone, he's not going to get any inheritance money out of the uncle. So it's up the stairs and talks Stanley into dressing up as a woman so that he can pass Stanley off as his wife, and hopefully this will get the uncle to write the will and leave him the money. So let the comedy shenanigans begin. Slapstick goodness at its very best in this short film. There's a brilliant fall where Stanley is coming down the stairs to meet the uncle, but he's in a dress, wig, high heels, and of course he can't walk, and he trips at the top of the stairs and like boom 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 on his butt the whole way to the bottom. And it was just really, really good the way they pulled that one off. But he gets in, and the uncle is kind of like, ooh, don't like the look of this one, and everything seems to be going fine and well. The uncle's happy enough, but he says, let's go for dinner and dancing at a local club. So they're stuck in the situation now. They have to go. So they head off to this high-end restaurant, dance floor and whatnot, and they're in there. Ollie's trying to pass her off, pass her off. Like I'm starting to listen to it now. Ollie's still trying to pass Stanley off as the wife, and of course Stanley's not sat down a couple of minutes to a drunk guy across the dance floor spots him and he's like, look at that, and he's like lifting sugar cubes and stuff and he's chucking them across the dance floor at Stanley and it's hitting him on the side of the cheek and he's trying to get his attention, or her attention I should say, and Stanley's having none of it, and a couple sugar cubes later, Stanley, he lifts something off the table and he launches it across the dance floor and hits a waiter full slap on the side of the head, and he's carrying a cake, and this becomes a running joke within the film too, where this tray with this massive cake in it, and this waiter multiple times throughout the short is trying to get from one end of the dance floor to the other, and every time he goes something happens and he trips, falls, cake in the face, slapstick goodness as I say. And then the drunk comes over to the table and there's a setup to a joke right here that I completely forgot about to the end of the film. That's how good these movies are, and they've got so many little things that happen, so many comedy moments within the one short film that will set a joke up somewhere along the line, and then they'll wait till way later on to pay it off. Then by the time the payoff comes, you've kind of forgot about the setup. So that happens here with the drunk over the table. He's chatting up Stanley. The uncle's under the impression that Stanley is Oliver's wife, and he's like, you're not going to do something forceful to sort this out. So the guy, he's going to town with his best lines and whatnot, and Stanley doesn't know what to do with himself. So Ollie lifts a plate of soup, pours it over the guy's head, and just sets the plate like that. And the guy calls the waiter over, check please, and a bowl of soup to go. So the waiter comes back, gives him his check and sets down the bowl of soup, and the guy lifts it. And in typical style in Laurel and Hardy films, whenever they're trying to one up each other, it's like somebody will do something on someone and then that person will do something else on the first person, and the first person will stand and take it, and once that happens then he'll retaliate once again. So that's what I was expecting to happen here, and the guy gets his bowl of soup, lifts it, and he turns and he walks off down the dance floor way into the distance. But I was thinking, just because of the setup of the dance floor and the table they were at, there's a line of tables right up the dance floor kind of behind them, and then there's the wall, so it was almost visually it looked like the guy couldn't get up with the bowl of soup and walk around behind Stanley to do something on Oliver. So I thought he was going to walk to the end of the room, round the back, and come down again and get Ollie. But the film was that well done. Few things happen after the guy leaves the table, just enough to distract your attention to kind of make you forget about that, and worked perfect on me. And usually that's something I'd be keeping an eye on the whole way through these films. But it goes to this guy. He's a waiter, or he's posing as a waiter, but he steals a necklace off a high class socialite, and he doesn't get away too far before they notice that it's gone and report it to the head waiter. So he's like, I'm going to search everybody on the premises before anybody can leave. So the guy hears this, starts to panic, and he's walking past Stanley and he drops it down the back of Stanley's dress, and Stanley realises there's something down there. He's like, Ollie, can you help me get this out? So the rest of the film is kind of like Oliver trying to get this necklace out of Stanley's dress, but every time he does something, somebody catches him and it looks like he's just trying to feel up a woman, or just molest her or something like that. And there's a few different scenarios where this happens, and there's even a point where they've snuck off trying to hide somewhere, and the guy that runs the place comes up in front of the crowd and he introduces a cabaret act, and everybody starts clapping, and there's a little stage, and then the curtains open up, and of course Stanley's down on his hands and knees, and Oliver's over the top of the arm down the back of the dress, And Stanley, he realises, he gets up, Oliver pulls out his arm, and there's just like the whole undergarments come out along with it, and the two of them run off. So by the end of the film, of course, no, on stage there, actually, the wig comes off Stanley, and the game's up, and the uncle realises, here, this isn't his wife at all. So at the end of the film, they're caught out, and the uncle says, you're not going to get a dime off me. I leave my money to a cat and dog hospital. He walks off, and that's it. We're on the final few seconds of the film, and then the payoff happens of that joke that was set up earlier on with the guy with the bowl of soup. And just beautifully done. And I wasn't going to put it into this, because I laughed so hard during this short film, but the payoff to that joke at the very end was just expertly done. Had completely forgotten about it. You don't even see the drunk approaching. You just see the hand coming on the off side of the screen, and with the bowl of soup, and he just tips it over Oliver's head, sets it down nice and easy, and that's pretty much where it ends off at. So that's another film. Like, there isn't one short film or feature film within this box set that I wouldn't recommend you checking out. They're all fantastic in their own way. Highly doubtful if anybody could sit down to a Laurel and Hardy film and not laugh at something as spectacular the career these guys had. I absolutely love them, so please go and check this one out, and even just invest in the entire box set. It's money well spent, and it is really cheap these days to buy it.